anytime you are applying for a visa, you should avoid large deposits. The amount of money in your bank balance does not necessarily matter. And that is the reason why you can have $20,000 to apply for a visa. Somebody can have $2,000. You can be rejected by the person who get the visa. Avoid edited or fake bank statements. That anytime you are applying for a visa, you should avoid large deposits.
Guys, if you've enjoyed this video so far, please do me a huge favor and hit the like button and subscribe. These videos take quite a long time to make, so if you could help me out, I'll love you forever. Thank you all for your support. Now let's get back to this crazy story.
People most of the times think that the key to getting a good bank statement is just having a huge bank balance. That is never the case. A strong bank statement is one of the most crucial documents that determine the outcome of your visa. This is because immigration use your bank statement to assess your financial stability, and that is the reason why they ensure that nobody travels to one country and becomes a burden onto that country. And so anytime you are traveling to any country, wherever, the number one thing that they look at is your financial statement, and that reflects in your bank statement. A poorly prepared bank statement will always lead you to visa rejection, and that is why in this video I'm going to take you on the road on how to prepare a clear, better bank statement that can increase your chances of securing a visa. If today is your first time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. When applying for a visa, always ensure that you have a healthy bank balance. Now, a healthy bank balance depends on the kind of visa that you are applying for. What type of visa are you applying for? Are you applying for a student visa? Are you applying for a job visa? Or are you applying for a visitor's visa? Either of these depend on the kind of bank statement that you should have in your bank account. Approximately every country traveling to Europe, America, wherever, you should have around $5,000 to $10,000, at least, calculating from how long you are going to stay in the country to how long you are going to live. If you are just going on a short stay visa, then you wouldn't need $5,000. Even $1,000 to $1,500 will be enough. Depend on the country, the GDP, and a lot of factors. People most of the times think that the key to getting a good bank statement is just having a huge bank balance. That is never the case. And so when you are applying for a visa and you wait for your time to print your bank statement and just go and borrow money and drop it into your bank account, you are most likely to be rejected. And most people may have had their visas rejected because of some of these mistakes. Every money in your bank account should have a clear reflection of what you do, your job that you do. Otherwise, you have to write a letter to explain that huge amount of money that was dropped in your bank account. So if you're applying for a student visa, what it means is that your bank balance should be able to have an amount of money that can cover your tuition and your living expenses. And that's it. If you're applying for a work visa, you should have at least a bank balance ranging from 3 months to 6 months. It does not necessarily depend on how much you have, because you're already going to work and earn money. However, you should have some amount of money that can cover your time of living till your time of getting paid. And that is what visa officers most of the times look out for. Putting all these factors together will tell you that the amount of money in your bank balance does not necessarily matter. How long you have run your bank statement, how active is it, and how it reflects personality. That is what matters. And that is the reason why you can have $20,000 to apply for a visa. Somebody can have $2,000. You can be rejected by the person who get the visa. This is because the immigration officer have assessed and gotten to know that the person's salary, even though the remaining balance is small, it reflects what the work the person does, how much the person earns. There are no huge drops of account mixed out like yours is. So this tells us that anytime you are applying for a visa, you should avoid large deposits, as this may be seen by the embassies as artificial funding. There are a number of people who will borrow when going on a tour. Or why will you borrow money to go and have fun? It makes no sense, right? And so the visa officers, anytime they see this, will deny your visa without even necessarily asking you for reasons. One of the best practices is to show consistent transactions. Now, what is consistent transaction? Consistent transaction is using your bank account consistently, buying, receiving. So, for instance, if your salary is 10,000 Ghana cedis, the visa officer wants to find out how much you spend, how much do you live on, how much do you save, how much goes out of your account, and how much do you get into your account. They will trace this by the 3 month or 6 month bank statement that you provide them. And so, what you have to do is that, for instance, if you are living abroad, it's pretty easy, right? Because most people buy phones, and so your bank balance is already connected to your ATM or wallet. The moment you pay, the money is deducted from your bank source, and that is straight, it is recorded. However, what you need to do if you are into this is that you always have to give a reason for the deduction. Most of the time, people don't give reasons, so the person will just buy it, will just be deducting, and will be using codes. Sometimes it becomes difficult for them to read. However, you need to be intentional about it. So, if you are walking in the mall and you buy something 5,000 cedis, you should write, okay, payment for a chicken, okay, payment for time out, payment for snack, payment for water, payment for bottle, payment for gas, payment for this. You should always give reasons so that these reasons will reflect on your bank statement. By so doing, anytime you go for your bank statement, the visa officer will read and know that, okay, so this person spends this amount of money. This is the person's regular income, and this is how much the person spent, and this is how much the person received. There are no problems with your bank statement. If you're also not living somewhere like that and live somewhere where cash is the main medium of instruction, like we're back in Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Kenya, wherever, that you can go to when you go to the market, you need to carry physical cash. It means that such a person, you need to be intentional about using your bank statement. So what can you do? Most banks are able to connect it to your phone. So in my country, for instance, Ghana, if you have a Momo, you connect your Momo with your bank. Now, anytime you go out and you want to buy, instead of paying cash, you pay with your Momo, and you write a reason and you make sure that the deduction is done from your bank. When this happens, the money is going to reflect straight in your bank account. By so doing, you don't have to worry anytime you're applying for a visa by proving any funds, because it already goes into your bank. Also, if you are the person who uses the ATM, if that is your only source of withdrawing money, then anytime you use your ATM, you should be regular in taking money. When somebody is sending money to you, let the person drop the money into your bank. In this day and age, you can still sit at the comfort of your home, send money to people, to their banks, and not necessarily walking into the banks to go and drop the money. So, for instance, my Ghana MTN mobile money, if somebody is sending money, instead of giving the person my Momo, I rather give my bank to the person. The person can transfer the Momo into my bank account. I can also receive it in my bank account. And when I'm withdrawing it, I can push from my bank account into my Momo and then withdraw that money. So by so doing, that small amount of money has been recorded in my bank account. Consistently doing this, you are able to spend and get. And that is one of the better way of getting a better bank balance. Now, this is a little trick. Shh, don't let anyone hear this. Now, one trick is that, for instance, if you want to print a 3-month bank account, then make sure that if you have that huge sum of money, you go and already drop that huge sum of money and then start managing your account. So if you're going to print a 3-month bank balance, then ensure that you don't print the bulky amount you dropped from the very 3 months you'll be printing. So if you drop it today, then you start working your bank account, withdrawing, adding. So now when you go and print from tomorrow. You don't print yesterday where you dropped a huge account. This is because anytime you give visa officers reason to suspect any huge drops, they see it as an artificial funding. So take note of that. Always ensure that you maintain regular withdrawals, payment for rent, utilities, activities in your bank balance. So anything you buy, make sure that it is recorded in your bank balance using this method that I'm showing you. Always use a personal bank account, not a business account. Your personal bank account is what reflects your personal situation. That is what reflects amount that you spend every day, on a daily, 2 days, a week, not a business account. You only use your business account when you are applying for a type of visa that needs you to show your business account. But even with that, you still have to present your personal account in addition to your business account. So personal account is very important when applying for a visa. If you are a self-employed person, always ensure that you transfer your salary from your business account to your personal account every month. That is what is going to show how much you are being paid. And so always ensure that you are paid, or you pay yourself. You have to pay yourself always. And it should make sense. It should be regular. It should portray the kind of role you are playing. Don't go and overpay yourself. Because you are paying yourself, you overpay yourself. No, it doesn't. Make sure that, there is a category for an amount of money that anybody in that your position is being paid. So make sure you pay yourself that amount. After going through all of this, now look for the number of months the bank wants. If the bank wants 3 months, you go and print 3 months. If they want 6 months, you go and print 6 months. Now, make sure that you print an official bank statement from the bank, and request that bank statement is signed and stamped from the bank. Make sure that they do this. They print, they sign, and they stamp it for you. That is what looks genuine. If you don't stamp it, it doesn't look genuine. So always ensure that your bank statements are printed, stamped, and signed. Avoid edited or fake bank statements, as these days visa officers have a way of authenticating from the banks. Many embassies these days verify bank details from the banks, and so it's very important that you avoid edited or fake bank statements. If you are found, you can be suspended from that country for as high as 5 or 3 years without being able to travel to that country. So that is a very serious mistake to make. Always ensure that you present genuine bank statement. Avoid fake bank statement, as they can block your opportunities to travel. Now, always match your bank statement with other documents. So you can have a bank statement with 3 names and have your other document with other names. For instance, what happens to most people in Africa is you'll be having a surname, and you don't include your surname in your bank statement, and you have 3 names on your other cards and they are not tallying. That can really ruin your chances of getting your visa approved. So always ensure that the name on your bank statement is the exact name on your other document. If you're also using a sponsor, then your bank statement should match the sponsor's financial details that was given to you, like ID cards, like cards that were given to you, affidavits that were given to you by the sponsor. They should match. Don't have different things scattering all over your bank statement and your document. Your visa will be rejected. If you also mention your employment details, make sure that your details or the amount of money in your bank statement reflect your employment details. Also reflect your employment salaries. Don't have different things. All these are suspicions that will get your visa rejected. Always avoid red flags. Red flags like unexplained, huge drop of account, just going into your account without being explained. Always try as much as possible to avoid all of these things. Also avoid huge withdrawals that leave your account with little or no money. Avoid all of that, and make sure that you are always withdrawing how much you are going to spend. And if you don't need it, you bring it back in that order. Also ensure that your account don't become dormant or down. You have 0 accounts, then all of a sudden the week for you to go and print bank statement, you have money dropping into your account. That will get your visa rejected. The best thing to do is the moment you plan of traveling, make sure that you have a travel savings plan and start saving months before applying to show financial discipline. Always know that a well-prepared financial bank statement proves your financial responsibility and improve your chances of getting your visa approved. Plan ahead and keep financials consistent. Maintain a good balance to avoid suspicion from visa officers. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video.